Welcome one and all to the NASCAR 1-Up Retro Cup Series round number 20. We are at the halfway point of the season, and we are at beautiful upstate New York at Watkins Glen International. We're back on the road courses for the first time in quite some time, and it's going to be a thriller for sure. And I have Duke Anzac alongside me for this race, and I know you've had this race circled on your calendar for a long time. Why is that?
Because this road course is one of the best road courses out there. It's high speed, wide corners, lots of passing zones, and lots of runoff areas. So you know that you're going to see a good race at Watkins Glen because it's just a good track.
Teams will have to focus on both downforce to make their way through the high-speed corners and top speed as well to get down the long back straightaway. Which do you think is more important? Where teams going to have to focus on both and try and not to weaken one to focus on the other?
Well, definitely you're going to want to focus on both, but I think that you're probably going to want to prioritize downforce in the corners so that you can pass people in the corners rather than going really fast down that one back straightaway. But it's going to be interesting to see which one prevails today.
Qualifying took place yesterday. We can give you the starting lineup for today's race, and hometown driver Jake McMillan puts his number 6 Ford on the front row. He said he was going to do good here, and he's certainly put his money where his mouth is so far with P1 in qualifying. And the road ringer Andres Molina will start alongside him in the 23 after missing the last race. His strength is on the road courses, so hopefully he can do well here as well. We have Peter Onjak in third, Ethan Zanstra in his second career start. Hopefully he can make it more than 5 laps this time. We'll line up fourth on the grid. Josh Drake in fifth rounds out your top 5. And we actually have one driver making her series debut, Aria Carmona in the 54 car. This is another hometown driver, and she's going to line up in the 35th position. So keep an eye out on that 54 Chevrolet as well as the cars work their way up through the field. And with that, the field is all set. We're ready to go racing, and the green flag will be brought to you just in a short while. With the field rolling down the short chute heading into the final corner, we have Jake McMillan and Andres Molina on the front row. This is going to be a very interesting race as the pace car is already on pit road coming out of the final corner. The green flag's in the air, and the field's got a very early jump on the grid. We are underway at Watkins Glen, the field side by side going into one. Who's going to be the latest of the late breakers here?
Yeah, you definitely want to be on the inside here. You're going to get freight trained if you're on the outside, but you do have a little bit of runoff area. Look at these guys all using the runoff there going outside of that curbing. Someone got a big lead
Someone
here,
kicked up a little bit of dust there. It looked like it was Henry Thomas as he's charged his way all the way up into third. He started 6th, and he's gained 3 spots already in the first corner as McMillan leads them onto the long back straightaway, headed for the bus stop with Molina not far behind.
Yeah, and Molina, he has shown lots of good potential on these road courses so far this year. So definitely that's a car to look out for today.
I think the two best drivers in the field today have started on the front row, with Molina having such strength on road courses. And McMillan has said this is his best track. This is the track he's grown up racing on in other racing divisions. So hopefully he can have a good run here today. He's starting off really well. Going into turn 6, he's got an edge over Molina. Going into turn 7 to complete lap 1.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different styles of curbing on this racetrack. On the exits, there's some big curves out there that you can kind of use up and use to extend the track a little bit, but then sometimes there's some really small curves that you don't want to touch because they're really tall, really small, and if you hit it, you're going to bounce and you're going to slide up the track.
Focusing on this battle now for 4th place, Ethan Zanstra in the 15. He only made 4 laps at Pensacola before being wiped out in a violent crash. Hopefully he can survive a little longer this time. He's got the points leader, Stephen Hunter, who was also involved in that lap 4 crash, all the way up his bumper. As we go back to the field, to the front of the field, Molina's closed in on McMillan a little bit. The 2 orange cars leading the field, but it looks like McMillan's going to have the advantage going into the carousel of turn 5.
Yeah, for sure. The 23 so far has been faster throughout most of the track, but this is the section that the 6 is kind of prevailing on right now. Looking back in the pack, it looks like everything else is kind of single-filed out.
Looking that way so far as McMillan starts to build a lead on Andres Molina and Henry Thomas in the 1 car. He won at Pikes Peak but hasn't done much else since. He says he's good on the road courses, and he's proving it here today, running in the 3rd spot. And looking back through the rest of the field, you see everybody's nice and orderly through the field. as you see one car on pit road early. This is not a scheduled stop. These cars can make it all the way to the end, and the caution flag is flying already, so they're going to race back to the line to complete lap 3, and we'll find out what causes. Ooh, that looks.
Okay, good. It looks like there's some skids right there.
It looks like Ricky Freeman Jr. was involved in this one. He's way behind. Oh! Santinoto nosed it into the barrels, and look, a lot of cars were involved in this wreck. Sam Denoto, Arthur Xavier, Alexa Lutchen, Richard Herman, and the 75 as well. They're all on pit road. Paul McKinney's there as well. This was a heavy, heavy impact for a lot of cars, and we're going to have to find out what happened here, because it looks like they've been wrecking all over this track.
Yeah, this is quite bizarre. Of course, they're still racing to the line right now.
It looks like all the cars have been cleared off the track. So, yeah, you can see more skid marks off of 6 and going into 7 as well. There truly have been accidents all over this racetrack. And as Jake McMillan crosses the line to take the caution flag, look at all 4 cars are already out of the race. With looks like Paul McKinney will join them. This has been a disastrous start to this race, and we'll find out what happened as the pace car picks up Jake McMillan. See the 75 exiting pit road minus a hood and a rear bumper. So you can see here the 75 gets turned by Kevin Carter into the inside wall, and then he collects Ricky Freeman Jr. Nowhere for the 56 to go. It looks like they're still solid, but you can see them going up through the S's 3 wide. That's never a good sign. As Caggiano takes to the grass, trying to avoid them. And behind them, you can see Denoto's still going, but behind him, there's a lot of. That's where McKinney crashed out, right there. So you can see McKinney going 3 wide with Carmona, and you can see Freeman trying to. Oh, and Carmona just hooks him.
Yeah.
Ooh!
Oh, that's a hard hit.
So Carmona turned McKinney into the inside wall, not the way her first start wanted to go, but she's still in this race, so we'll see what happens here. You can see Denoto up at the top of your screen is still good, so we'll have to find out what happened to them. As you can see, Xavier's still good, Herman is still good, so we'll have to find out what happened to these cars as they go through. We saw some skids on the exit of 6 and the entrance of 7. We might see, these cars might have caused those as they go through the short shoot here. Oh, and that's what started it. Freeman gets into Denoto, who runs wide, and Xavier and Herman get together. Herman noses it deep into the. Oh, and he's upside.
Oh no, my goodness!
Richard Herman on his roof lands on his wheels. He's okay. I hope he's okay after that impact. But he lands on his wheels, and Denoto, I think his steering has broken because he cannot make it to pit road and just noses it into the barrels on the entrance to pit road, and that ends Sam Denoto's day at Watkins Glen. And so you can see Herman on the inside. You see Denoto go off, and he just sends it in way too deep on Xavier, just noses it in the wall, hits Denoto again, and rolls on his side for quite some distance.
Say the 52 might have gotten through there without any contact going underneath the crash.
Man, that reminds me of the 1991 race. We saw a car slide upside down for a long time there, and that had a disastrous outcome. Hopefully we don't have the same outcome here. As the lights are out on the pace car, so we will be going green this time. As you see Ryan Soper exit the pits, Ricky Freeman Jr., Jack Porkins, Aria Carmona, they all exit the pits, Zachary Fitzwater as well. So, when we go back racing, it'll be McMillan, your leader still, Molina second, Thomas third, Zanstra in the 4th position, and Stephen Hunter will round up your top 5 after just 4 laps have been completed. Field's rolling through turn 5, and this is going to be an interesting restart. It's going to be single file this time, so the question is who's going to make a move first to try and get a jump on Jake McMillan and maybe Andres Molina as well.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of room going down into turn 1, depending on which lane the leader goes into, and that's a huge braking zone, huge passing zone for these guys. So definitely it's going to be exciting going into turn 1 now that we got them all bunched up again.
It'll be single file this time, like we said, so no more of that. We could see more of the. And it looks like they're bunching up back there at about 10th place, because as the pace car rolls off, they're already spread.
There they go.
They're spread out quite a bit as they go down to the green flag. Look at that. Hunter is split from Onjek and Drake. Yep, there's the first.
4 wide in the back.
Yeah, but at the front, Zanstra is going to try and make a move on Thomas. He clips the curbing on the inside and that cannot make the move stick. And now he's got Hunter up his tailpipe trying to get 4th place away.
And McMillan is pulling away so far. That's the same thing that happened on the start of this race.
And we can officially say now that Ethan Zanstra has made it past where he finished last week at Pensacola. So good for him, he made it. And the caution is back out. You can see the lights on. And ooh, Brandon Beal's involved. And Aria Carmona in her first ever start is out of the race on lap 6. See Wyatt Dooling go by. Looks like he was caught in it. Brandon Beal. Jordan Presto, last week's winner, is caught up in that one as well. Another accident, I assume in the S's, that eliminates at least 2 more cars of Carmona and Beal. And as they race back to the yellow flag once again, McMillan will take the flag ahead of Molina and Thomas. The order remains fairly unchanged from the restart.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, they were all bunched up coming to the green for whatever reason. And, you know, obviously here it has not turned out quite so well for some of these folks.
Yeah, it's a shame for Carmona. It was her first start. It's her home track. She started deep in the field, but was making her way up, and now this on lap number 7. So you can see Beal on the outside Mashburn gets a nose out. Ooh, it starts way early. Atkins and Dooling just turns Beal into and that's where Carmona gets hit. She just had nowhere to go to avoid Brandon Beal. And Dooling, it looked like, turned Beal into Carmona and into the inside barrier there. So
yeah, it was just a lot of stacking up there.
You can see from our chopper cam, they're side by side deep in the field already. Let's see where this starts. It looks like Atkins just lost it off the corner.
Yeah,
and the 3 hits him, the 66 of Presto hits him, and then the accident between Beal and Carmona. Ouch!
Man, yep, going too fast, just nowhere to go, nowhere to move, nothing you can do there. What a shame.
Tough break for Carmona, but she will be back for Daytona, and hopefully that race will go better for her, as the halfway point of this season has already had a chaotic start to this one. We've had at least 7 cars fall out of the race due to accidents. We probably will not see as many DNFs as we saw at Pensacola last week. We've already got a good amount of them already, but the running order up front has still not changed. We have McMillan, Molina, Thomas, Zanstra, and Hunter in your top 5 then. Onjak, Drake, Hutchinson, Halleck, and it looks like 10th place Ben McDonald's coming to pit road. I don't know why they would need to. They can make it all the way on a single tank. So that will promote Cal Farrell to 10th place as McDonald hits pit road.
It's a interesting little bit of a strategy right there. Maybe there was an issue with the car. Maybe there was some contact somewhere on that restart.
You'd think if they were going to try a contrarian strategy and get fresh tires, you'd think more people would do it, but he's the only one to hit pit road. He really wanted more cars to come with him. Now he's going to be back at the back of the pack with no way up front unless those fresh tires pay big dividends. But they've only run 7 laps on these tires. Most of those were under caution.
Yeah, that's I'm not quite sure about that strategy. Not sure what they're thinking there. You know, if more people had come, it might have been a better strategy there, but definitely not looking too good right now for them.
It looks like the field will get the lights are out on the pace car, so we'll get the green flag the next time they come by the start-finish line. The field is dwindling, but not quite as much as we had at Pensacola for sure.
Yeah.
We had 23 cars fail to finish that race.
My goodness.
Thankfully, we've only had 7 crash out here. So, hopefully...
So far.
Yes, so far, and hopefully we don't see any more, because we like to have as many cars finish as possible. I know it's more exciting for the fans to see a lot of wrecks, but we here would like to see a lot of cars finish this one under their own power. As McMillan leads them off at 5, we're ready for the restart with we'll get to the restart at lap 9, which will leave us with about 22 to go, which is still quite a ways in this race.
Yeah, and hopefully right here we get a more orderly restart. It was really weird last time. A bunch of people bunched up, and that, I believe, is what led to that crash happening. Of course, it was it was the 2 car that just got loose in turn 1, but had they not been 3 and 4 wide already, some of those folks might have been able to drive by, and it looks like they're bunching up again
Except
back there.
except for the top 7, they're rolling through and they're accelerating way earlier. And Onjack's already making a move on the inside of Stephen Hunter. You can make a move on the right, just not on the left.
Oh!
We've got contact between Porkins and King, but it looks like we're staying green for the time being. Taylor makes a free wide move down on the inside, and it looks like he'll make it stick. Dueling made a move on the inside as well. Porkins is off the pace a little bit. He goes through the grass to escape, and he's a little ways off the pace, but no caution yet. We're still green.
Yeah, he absolutely hammered that wall on the front stretch, the inside wall. He must have gotten hooked and turned into it, but we are still green. There's nobody around, and I doubt there's debris, so it's looking good for now. Got some green flag racing.
We got the green flag on the track, but it's all orange up out front with McMillan leading and Molina second. Henry Thomas third still. Zanstra hanging on the 4th in his second career start. Good run for him. And Stephen Hunter's under big pressure from Peter Onjack and Josh Drake in the 86. We haven't talked much about that 86 this season because he hasn't had a very great season, but hopefully he can have a good run here as McMillan leads the field off of turn 4 to complete the green flag lap at lap 9. We're approaching 1/3 distance of this race, and McMillan continues the lead going into 1.
Yeah, and that 23 car right now is closer than he's been under green flag conditions, so we're going to see if there's anywhere on this track that he can make a move and maybe try to get the lead here.
Going through the S's, you can see that lead has grown to about half a second as McMillan powers off of turn 4 to go down the long back straightaway. Going to the S's, you can see some dust kicked up there. Maybe someone went wide or so, and you see a lot of cars on pit road, including Ben McDonald for a second time. Something must be wrong with that car. It must not have been a strategy decision to bring them down under yellow the first time.
Yeah, definitely some weird stuff going on. These guys look like they were involved in some accidents here, other than Ben McDonald, of course, but he's got something else going on. There's Porkins coming into the pits, finally made it back around after that heavy contact on the front stretch.
And Stephen Gale sporting his first race in the Halmar colors after the longtime sponsor Flex Seal bowed out. He was also on pit road, so he'll likely be well off the pace. He won't lose a lap, though, because that's the one positive about Watkins Glen International. You can make a green flag pit stop here and not lose a lap, but you will be miles behind the leaders.
Yeah, literally miles behind. It's a pretty long track, about somewhere in the range of 2.5 miles here, and right now, in front of all of them is the number 6 car still. That Ford Fusion is looking sporty today for sure.
Actually, we've got all 4 manufacturers represented in the top 4. McMillan's Ford, Molina's Dodge, Thomas's Toyota, and Zanstra's Chevrolet. They cut through the grass off the exit of the bus stop. They do that every lap, and it doesn't seem to slow them down any, as McMillan powers off of 5 with Molina in hot pursuit.
A little bit slidey off of 5 there, but that's all right. Got plenty of room to save it and walk the car up the track there. A bunch of people use that little bit of access pavement there to gain speed off the corner. 51's getting passed on the outside by the 70.
Yeah,
that puts him on the inside here.
He hooked the inside curb coming through 6. That slowed him down a little bit, but he's got the launch off of 7, and it looks like he'll be able to stay ahead depending on, because you honestly want to come in from as far into 1 from as far left as possible to try and and that's why, because Onjack got on the curb on the inside, and that really slows you down. So Hunter will keep the position and stay in 5th place, which he really needs, because he had that crash at Pensacola that wiped out his points lead. And now, with Alexa Lutchen out of the race and J.D. Martin nowhere to be seen near the front, it looks like Hunter will start to build that lead back up again.
Yeah, definitely a good opportunity for points here, with a lot of heavy hitter names out of the race already, or having gotten to some kind of trouble so far. So, it's a lot of good opportunity up front right now to grab some points and keep going halfway through this season.
And Molina and Thomas are starting to try and close in on McMillan. They're about the same distance they were at. McMillan's just keeping him at arm's length, running his race. He's had a lot of practice on this track, racing in other divisions, so it's no surprise to see him running up front. This Miracon Ford Fusion running very strongly here, And who knows, maybe he can take it to his second win of the season.
Yeah, but I have to say that 23 is right there. You know, he's just inching closer and closer. You know, that arm's length, it can change at a moment's notice. So he's just got to be careful of that 23 trying to pounce, get that lead from him.
Making their way through the S's, that leaves Molina and Thomas and now Zanstra to chase down Jake McMillan. As it appears everyone from fifth on back dropping back. You can see Porkins, who made it off the pit lane, but he is just in front of the leaders and will likely be lapped because he's still quite a ways off the pace. That could help Molina get by McMillan right there.
Yeah, I believe is he already one lap down? He might already be one lap down. So
he is one lap down, and them passing him here would put him 2 down, which you can recover from being 1 lap down, but you definitely can't recover from being 2 down. So Porkins doing his best to stay up front, but knowing how off pace he is, these leaders getting by is an inevitability.
Yeah, definitely he's got to hope for a caution here. But these leaders, I saw the 6 take more of a defensive line coming into turn 6 right there, I think, and that's showing just how close that 23 car is to making a move. You don't want to get past on the inside, because once somebody sneaks up in there, it's going to be game over for that position you have.
A lot of these curbs are also very steep, so if you ride these curbs, not the red and white ones, but those smaller brown and white ones, hugging most of the track, those curbs are very steep, and you don't want to ride those for too long. It'll just kill any momentum you have. We'll show them next time you see them around, because these red and white curves, you can probably take those pretty well, but it's the smaller... Oh, Molina is really close now. But yeah, you'll see these brown and white curves on in the inside of turn 6, as you'll see Molina make a move. Yep, see
catch up to Porkins.
Porkins is holding the leaders up.
Slowing him up.
Slowed up the leader, and now he's gonna have to go the long way around 7. And even though he had to go the long way around, McMillan makes an easy pass, and so does Molina.
And it seems like he's somehow been able to pull away, and now there's not enough room for the 1 car to get through, and there's contact, a crash going into turn 1.
Thomas is around, and into the tire barrier goes Thomas and Porkins. Just wasn't enough space for the both of them, and there they go into the outside wall. It won't hurt Porkins because he'd already lost 2 laps, but Henry Thomas has just lost all of his track position. He goes from 3rd to likely outside the top 20.
Wow, and racing a lap car too, that's gotta hurt. That's such a shame, running in 3rd place right there, and then it all gets taken away by somebody that's just gone 2 laps down. That's really unfortunate situation right there.
That is a good break for Jake McMillan, though, because that means one of his challengers has fallen by the wayside. So now it's just Molina to let the challenge him, and maybe Zanstra if he can catch up. But it looks like he's kind of far behind, as everyone from 4th on back is probably going to not make it to the end of this race with a shot at challenging this 6 car who's flying through this race.
Yeah, and I'm watching his line, and he is using up all of the track wherever he can. He'll make a little bit of a right-hand turn to get in that wall opening before he makes the left-hand turn going into 6, just so he can get a wider entry and carry a little bit more speed through there. There's a little bit of dust in the air too around this area.
That must be from where Thomas. That's from where Thomas and Porkins, I think, made the contact.
Yeah.
But that elevates Kevin Carter into the top 10 as well. He's riding along 10 at the back of that train you see in the back of your picture. But right now it's a 3-car battle for the lead between Jake McMillan, who has already got a win, and 2 drivers in Molina and Zanstra, who've never won a race. And consider that Zanstra is only in his 2nd start, so good on him to hang on to a top 3 spot.
Yeah, really good run right there for him. Watching there's, man, oh man, that is a crazy line going into turn 6. Watching these guys, I was about to say that the 6 car is starting to pull away a little bit more than he has, but 23 caught right back up as soon as I was about to say it. So it's still a close battle for the lead right now.
It's 3 cars under a second battling for position. We're approaching the halfway point of this race. As Zanstra tries to close into Molina, he doesn't have the road racing acumen of McMillan and Molina, but he's doing his best, and he's doing it very well. He's hanging on to the back of this draft here. Coming out of the S's, Molina is going to have to put in a lot of effort to get around McMillan, because McMillan is just flying around this track that he's honed so well over lots of hours of simulator work and a lot of track time.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely it is showing today. I mean, he's still in the lead while the 23 is close and been able to hang on so far. He is 100% led this whole race, and he is showing exactly how much strength he has at this place so far.
Yeah, that simulator work and that extra track time has definitely paid off, as Molina tries to go down the inside of 7, but he's just too far back to make that run work. And as they come off a 7, for the 17th time, McMillan will lead the way, and he will clinch the most laps led bonus point, which will help him greatly in his quest to climb up the standings. He's entered this race about 38th in points, so he really needs a good run or two to make his way up Fredo Field. You can see we're scrolling through the rest of the... You can see Henry Thomas dropped all the way to 25th after that contact with Porkins. But you didn't lose much ground over than that. You can see Porkins 2 laps down and checking in on the fastest lap. No surprise, Jake McMillan's got that too. Yeah. But Nick Ortiz actually has the second fastest lap all the way back in 11th. So good run from the 91. Wow. Because road racing is definitely not his strong suit. He prefers the fast ovals. But good on him to score a close to fastest lap of this race, as the leaders are really close together now.
And it is tightening up right here. This is really awesome to see. And I think that second group, my eyes might be deceiving me wanting some more action here, but that second group might be closing in on these 3 up front. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out. We still got a lot of racing left.
We'll check when the scoring pylon updates, but coming across the line, it appears... Nope.
Oh, they're falling behind.
The top 3 actually gained a couple tenths on that lap. This isn't a place where the more cars unlike Pensacola last week and unlike Daytona next week, this is not one of those tracks where you go faster the more cars you have in a group. These 3 are doing just fine on their own compared to the gaggle of cars about 3 seconds behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And those folks behind, well, they've separated a little bit now, but they were racing each other. And as they're racing, of course, they're going slower than these folks who are kind of staying single file. But the 23 is getting there. He's getting a little racy. I saw him almost pop out before the bus stop there. He thought better of it, but it's going to be interesting.
He also took a shorter line around the carousel, and he made a peak out on the short chute. But it appears McMillan will hold him off now. As Molina runs wide in 7, that's going to hurt him a little bit, but hopefully he'll be able to stay on track and stay ahead of Ethan Zanstra right behind him, as it looks like these 3 are going to settle this race between them. As we hit 14 laps to go in this race, there's still plenty of time for anything to happen.
Yeah, we got a lot of racing left, absolutely, and this is not over by any means. Of course, this is the longest run we've had so far, and we haven't gone farther than that, meaning that we don't really know what these cars can do in the long runs. In this series, we normally see a lot of comers and goers during the race, and so far we haven't really seen that because we haven't had a super long run. So we're going to see what this 6 car can do in the really long run and see if the 23 can maybe beat him just because of that.
Fuel is not an issue. They can make it to the end on this tank of fuel. The question is, how much will the tires fall off, being worn through the long corner of turn 5, especially. That one is especially wearing on corners. You can see it in a lot of open wheel races. The faster the corner, the more wearing it is on the tires, and I assume it's the same way in these stock cars as well.
Yeah, really heavy cars, really putting the load on these tires. The Goodyear tires always bring in a great compound, but of course they do wear over time at these speeds and with the cars that are that heavy. So, and this is another one of those corners where it's just a huge braking zone, a ton of load on the tires. So we're gonna have to see if they start to wear and give up grip and speed, of course, over the next few laps here.
The times have been dropping, but not as considerably as you think they would. As McMillan powers off turn 4 to go down the back straightaway, and I see another lap car up there that looks like they could interfere a little bit, but they've got plenty of time until they catch him. So it looks like it'll still be Molina and McMillan battling for the lead. And again, Molina takes a wider line around turn 5. I'm curious to see how that works, because so far he hasn't really made it stick. But it looks like, he wants to make a move, but he's too far back to make it anything of it.
Yeah, you got to think about the 23 has been running behind the 6 for the whole race so far, and you're getting a lot less air to the grill and to the radiator when you're running right up behind somebody in a tire track like that. Maybe they're running, or he's running a little bit off the line of the 6 car just to get a little bit more air to his nose.
It's like a ride with the tide ride of Andres Molina going around Watkins Glen, going through the S's, a long, fast right-left flick through the highest speed section of the course we have, going on a long back straightaway. And tell me, where's your braking zone for the bus stop? Do you want to leave it late to try and get an overtake on, or do you want to play it safe and stay on the track?
Well, when you're this far behind, you definitely want to brake a little bit earlier than the guy ahead of you, just so you don't plow into the rear end. That would end the day for the both of you. So you want to wait a little bit. Here's that higher lane that he's been taking through the carousel there. It's not really helping him in the speed, but it might be helping his airflow a little bit now. Then he takes a little bit of a peek down this shorter straightaway right there, going into turn 6. Yeah, hasn't really gained or lost any time on this lap. There's a left-hand turn right there, another right-hand turn, both of those 90-degree turns there. Coming down, this is a long straightaway, one of 2 long straightaways at this place, and you get really, really fast going up here, and then you hit the brakes really, really hard going downhill into turn 1.
Next time by, we will hit 10 laps to go as the field makes their way through the S's once again. And McMillan, Molina, and Zanstra have pulled out to an almost 4-second lead over their competition. So I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It looks like it'll be these 3 cars battling for victory. Unless we have something happen that bunches the field back up, we will see these 3 cars battle for victory. Ooh, that was wide through the bus stop there.
Yeah, it was. Looks like it hasn't hurt him all that much. And I want to mention that lap car. I think it's Alexa Lutchen up there.
Can't be Lutchen. She's fallen out of the race already.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not sure who it is then, but whoever it is, we've seen issues in this race with the lappers before, and it looks like there's a move going for 2nd place here. The 15 now on the outside of the corner. Not gonna... Oh, held zone on the outside. I wasn't expecting that. Side by side down the front stretch. Here we go, deep into turn 1. Let's see who's gonna get it.
Oh, Molina broke really late there, but he outbroke himself, and now Zanstra is up to P2. Now it's up to him. Now it's up to him to chase down Jake McMillan, the young rookie, trying to overtake McMillan to try and take his first career win and only his 2nd start. He's already done infinitely better in this race than he did last time out of Pensacola, so good on him, and he's earning a lot of respect out there.
Absolutely, this is very impressive. Really a sleeper pick, the 15 car it was for today. We were watching the 2 orange cars up front, but now we got a little bit of silver and red going in there between them now. So this will be interesting to see if maybe the 15 can give something to the 6.
He did qualify up in 4th place, but we didn't expect much of it because of how unpredictable qualifying can be here, especially in changing conditions. But Zanstra's proving it's no fluke. He's running very well in 2nd place now, and we're under 10 laps to go. So if he's going to make a push, he's going to have to make it soon. And we can see now that lap car is actually Ricky Freeman Jr. in the 56. And he will likely be lapped before the end of this race because he is considerably off the pace as well compared to the cars of McMillan, Zanstra, and Molina.
Yeah, not sure how many laps down that car is. Of course, depending on how many laps down they are is how hard they're going to fight to stay on whichever lap they're on. If there is a caution right now, he's just got that extra lap, so he doesn't want to be passed by these leaders, so he has a chance to make up some positions before this thing is over, and that can always lead to trouble when it comes to a road course and using up small lane that you have for racing.
And you notice Zanstra actually took a lower line through the carousel than even Jake McMillan managed to, and he just rides that railing all the way through, and he's gaining on him very much.
He really launched off of that corner. That was incredible.
And off
he's been riding back there and learning, and
oh no! He's got something wrong. That 15 car is out of this one now.
Oh.
We were talking about him doing so well, but it's all for naught as he's coming down pit road with some sort of mechanical issue in that 15, and that ends his hopes of a solid finish here today. He will fall likely off of the top 25, and depending on how long he takes on pit road, it may even cost him a lap.
Oh, that is such a shame. He was doing so well. And it's all for naught now. Anyway.
Now it's down to 2 cars, Molina and McMillan. Gonna try and see if Ricky Freeman Jr. in his attempt to stay on the lead lap is going to hold up Jake McMillan enough to allow Molina to gain ground. Look, but that gap has grown considerably. Yeah. It's up to over a second now.
Yeah, of course, the 15 was really the main contender for a few laps there, and now the 15 is out of it, and Molina is forced back into the second place role, and we're seeing if he can catch him, and it looks like he's gained a lot of time just through that little section right there.
He gained over half a second that lap.
Wow.
McMillan is being held up by Ricky Freeman Jr. Yeah. You ideally want to pass him on the straights before you get stuck behind him in the corners, especially in these high-speed corners, because you have to take them slower if you've got a lapper directly ahead of you, and that's what McMillan's struggling with here.
Yeah, and the S's are really, really tough to pass in the S's without wrecking. Here we go on the long backstretch, though. It's probably going to happen here. There it is.
Yep, and it looks like McMillan will get by Freeman, but will Molina get by as well? No, he won't.
Oh, man.
That's going to hurt Molina as Freeman continues to hold up the 23, and that's going to allow McMillan to build that lead back up again, going through the carousel of turn 5, and coming off the corner, his lead is already extended, and as you see now, Ethan Zanstra, after that lengthy pit stop, dropped all the way back to 31st.
Man, that's got to be really frustrating. He was doing so well, he was going so fast, and all of a sudden, it's back to the back again. So next week, definitely though, that 15 car is going to be one to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely. Daytona is an ultimate equalizer. We've got a lot of cars entered for that one, though. And Molina trying to get by the 56 of Freeman once again. Will it stick? No.
My goodness.
And that's going to allow McMillan to pull away even further. And we're less than 5 laps to go as well. So this is going to really hurt that gap. It's back up to 1.5 seconds. And with Freeman continuing to hold on, there he goes. He finally
pass, yep.
Finally makes it by. But now he's only got about 5 laps to try and chase down Jake McMillan after that lengthy hold up behind Ricky Freeman Jr. I'm sure that you won't be happy with the driver of the 56. But he's got to put that behind him right now as he goes through the carousel, because his only mission now is to chase down Jake McMillan. Yeah,
and I also see another lapper up there. Not sure if they're going to get there before the end of the race, but that might be one of the only hopes that the 23 has left of catching McMillan in this race.
And going through 6 and 7, a flick to the left and then a dash to the right as McMillan powers off the corner, and he will come to 4 laps of racing to go, I believe. And it's Jack Porkins directly ahead. If they catch him, he will go a 3rd lap down.
Yeah.
He never truly recovered after that impact with the wall and with King, and his race has just been a nightmare ever since.
Yeah, that was a really hard impact, though. A lot of damage probably internally as well as cosmetically on that race car. So not much you can do there. Just logging laps and logging points here.
And he's well off the pace, and you can see McMillan gaining on him. Hopefully he'll be able to get out of the way pretty quickly here as the field rolls through the bus stop chicane and going into the carousel. And it looks like the way things stand right now, maybe McMillan will overtake Porkins on this straightaway, and if not this one, then the next one for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. He's going to get there. Yep, he's going to get there and pass him easily. That top speed in the 16 has really been hindered by the damage he has, and the 6 gets around him easily without having any problems at all.
That spoiler is actually bent up on the back of that 16. That's going to hurt a lot of aerodynamics on that Best Buy Ford as Molina closes in on him, and it looks like he'll be able to make a pass pretty easily unless he gets held up, and it looks like he will.
Of course.
Molina's luck with the lappers is not good, and now actually Stephen Hunter is also being held up by the lapper of Freeman. So all the contenders, aside from Jake McMillan, are being held up by lap cars, and that's just allowing the 6 to scoot away to a big lead.
Yeah, this is definitely the 6 car's race to lose here. He's just got to keep it smooth and not get held up by anything or anyone, and he's just ride into the sunset today, it looks like.
And with 4 laps to go, it doesn't look like anyone can stop him unless, even if a caution were to come out, it might be too late in the race. It might end under the caution flag if we get a yellow this late in the race. So it appears that McMillan's home free, and now this pack of cars is being held up by Porkins and Freeman. It looks like Hunter will be able to get by, but look at the pack behind him. Josh Drake, Peter Ondak, Justin Hutchinson, all of them are suffering behind these lap cars, and they still can't get by.
That's incredible. These guys they're hounding the lap cars. It's incredible. This is stacked up so many drivers here.
There's at least 7 cars stuck behind. Oh, that's not going to go well for Onjak. He's going to lose out to Hutchinson and Ortiz, and he's going to have a disadvantaged line going through the S's, and he's going to ride that curve. That's not a good one to be at as Ortiz powers by. Could he get his first top 10 on a road course here as they get by Porkins pretty easily?
Yeah, that really wasn't very good for the 70 car there. All these guys still racing each other for position through the lappers. I have to say that the 56 has held pretty good pace with these guys. Lots of people going through the grass right there, but yeah, for a lap car, he's holding up well. He stayed in front of the 23 for however many laps, so he's got good pace, but just bad luck.
And now we've got a battle for is this gonna be 3 wide? It's gonna be really close, but he backs out of it, and Ortiz rides that bottom curb. That's not a good one to hit. But Hutchinson's gonna try and work around Freeman, but he's got the inside line. And it looks like Freeman will be able to hold him off, and that's not going to make the 28 very happy.
Yeah, because here comes a bunch of people for position from behind. He's going to be all right, hold that position, but he's lost time to those in front of him.
And notice how Freeman actually managed to defend the position from the 91 by taking a wider line through turn 1. Yeah. And Josh Drake, as we said at the top of the show, hasn't had a great season, but he's running up in 4th after the attrition and just the luck with the lappers. He's running in 4th place, knocking on the door of 3rd.
Yeah, and I think that we should have seen this here because we for the whole race we've had 2 orange cars out front, and now there's 3. There's a 3rd orange car who has entered the top 3. So it's lots of orange out front today.
Must be a good luck charm as we're coming to the white flag this time by. We were so wrapped up in the racing action, we didn't even notice the lap counter ticking down. And now Jake McMillan's got the white flag. This is his final lap of the race, and he has got a over 2.5 second lead over Molina. He can just cruise on into victory lane.
Yeah, there's not much that could stop him right now other than himself, of course. But that orange car looking really orange and black looking really good today.
Hasn't made a mistake all day long, and it doesn't look like he's going to make one now. Coming out of turn 4, heading down the long back straightaway for the final time. He's got to make this stick on the bus stop and through the carousel. He's run a fairly consistent line through there, and he's got to make it stick this time.
Yeah, it's a really treacherous part of the track through here. Of course, the 6 car is going to nail it, just like the last 32 laps that he's done the very same thing.
And coming out of turn 5, this is going to be Jake McMillan's second run of the season, and this one's probably going to mean more to him than his first, because this is his home track. This is the track he spent so much time preparing for. This is the one he had circled on his calendar. And after leading every single lap of this race, he's going to come through turn 7 for the final time, off the corner, onto the rumble strip. It doesn't matter. Jake McMillan is going to take the checkered flag, and he's going to be your winner at Watkins Glen International after a truly dominating performance.
Absolutely. He was not to be touched today, even during all that time where the 23 and the 15 were right on his bumper. Nobody could touch him. Nobody could get past him. And dominating performance, and congratulations to him.
Andres Molina with a career-best second place, ahead of Stephen Hunter, who will pad his points lead once again. Josh Drake with his first top 5 of the season in 4th, ahead of Justin Hutchinson, who finally rights his ship, in 5th place. Nick Ortiz, his first top 10 on the road course, will finish 6th place, ahead of Peter Onjak, who faded in the closing laps, but still managed to hold on to 7th. Jack Halleck, been vocally disappointed with his season so far. This will help him out with an 8th place finish. Kevin Carter will take 9th, ahead of Cal Farrell, rounding out your top 10. This has been a dominating performance by Jake McMillan, and unlike at St. Petersburg, the other time we had one driver lead every lap, this race was full of exciting action from start to finish.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a fun one to watch. It's a great racetrack, lots of high-speed action, and unfortunately you saw some pretty hard wrecks today, but hopefully everybody's okay, and it's a goodie today. A good race, exciting race, and congratulations to Jake McMillan.
And we've got a lot more exciting racing coming up, because next week we head back to the place where it all began, Daytona International Speedway, for race number 21, Under the Lights. It'll be an absolute blast to have, and I hope you'll join us for that race as well, down in southern Florida. And from Duke Anzac, and from myself as well, Jake McMillan's your winner at Watkins Glen. Congratulations to him. He truly earned it.